Hit the Target Podcast.
Hello and welcome to the Target Podcast powered by Hollywood Bets. I'm your host Desh, and would be in studio today is the dream team. Of course, I'm talking about Marc, Strydom and Ayanda, Vezi. Gentlemen, welcome.
Good morning, team. Thanks for having us, Desh.
Greetings to our listeners at home. It's good to be back again to this beautiful platform.
Yeah. Gents, today we're going to discuss Bafana's chances at AFCON. Now, I'm just going to come out and say it. I think we are into the knockouts. Even if we lose today against Tunisia.
We're not going to lose. Just pray for Tunisia today.
Yeah.
Pray for them, because the way I have gained confidence in this team, in this Bafana Bafana side, their last game against Namibia, they showed more maturity. They showed hunger. They learned from their mistake in the opening game against Mali.
Yeah.
So they stood up to the occasion and then they delivered what was expected from them, and which makes them to be like in a good place to qualify for the knockout stages, of which I think we're gonna qualify eventually, because I was looking at Tunisia, their last two games. For me, defensive wise, if we can play like how they've been playing, like Evidence Makgopa as a target man there, drawing those defense to allow the likes of Mshishi, Tembazwane and Pesitao to
exploit the spaces as well.
Yeah, you see, Evidence Makgopa has done a really good job here so far in this tournament, being the target man to just disturb those defense, to lose focus on our midfielders, on our attackers rather. Yeah.
Do you think maybe Broos should focus on getting him on the score sheet now? Because I know off camera we were looking at Makopa's actual involvement in the Bafana games. I think he has picked up an assist against Namibia, 4-0 romp actually. Yeah. What do you make about his performance in that one?
I think he's been really good. He hasn't scored, obviously. He's getting in the right spaces. Like Ronwen Williams said in his interview, that he just needs to keep his head down. The goals will come. He's very excited to play in this system. It's clearly Hugo Broos has done analysis on the team. He's made some changes in the Namibia team. The gameplay changed as well. They were more direct, and we got 4 goals out of it.
Gents, I just want your opinion very quickly. Yes or no, and then substantiate it, right? Should Percy Tau have squared the ball to Makopa in our first game against Mali? It was shortly after Percy Tau missed the penalty. Yeah. Makopa was in an excellent position and he could have varied that.
Yes, I think he should have, but then he just missed the penalty, so he wanted to redeem himself, you know. But I think if he should have scored that ball to Makopa, that will also be like, okay, you missed the penalty, but you were able to come back and you provided an assist.
You played for the team.
Yeah, you know. So I think that game against Mali, I think the team learned their mistake when they sat down and do analysis. Sure, they said A, B, C, D, we must avoid doing these kind of mistakes going forward.
Maybe it was just nerves that got the better of the players. We don't know.
Yeah.
But at least we saw in the next game that there was change. There was more positive in the team. They were going forward more. They created more. And Mshishi getting 2 goals, I think that's also a huge bonus for the team, because that also boosts him up as well for the next game and obviously into the next round.
I think it was goal number 9 and 10 for him in the national setup. But I just want to ask you again, should he have squared the ball to Makopa, because Makopa was kind of in an open net situation?
Are you talking about Zwane or Tau?
Zwane's second goal. So Vezi says Tau should have squared the ball in the first game. I want to ask you, should have squared the ball to Makopa in the second game?
I think if he didn't score, we got a case for it. But seeing that Makopa's getting in the right spaces, which is very good for him, and I think he should just continue with that and go on. I think his goals will come, and
Look, I actually kind of disagree with both of you, gents. I think as a striker, you need to be getting goals. I think as we go into the knockout stages of the tournament, we need a striker that we can rely upon, because if Makopa finishes the tournament without 0 goals.
No, but look at the role that he plays.
Yeah.
He draws those defense. So the defense, they're focusing on him. So that allows Tembazwane and Pesitao to be like free there, because the backline is focusing on Evidence Makgopa. So when Makgopa like moves, So
follow
he creates
him. Yeah.
space for Tau to come in, be the striker there. So it's like Makopa is playing a false nine.
Yeah.
In that,
I think
it,
that just shows more maturity in his game, like his understanding of the game,
the
and
task that
his role of the
Yeah.
game that Hugo Broos wants him to do.
you know,
If he's not getting amongst the goals, be in the right spaces at the right time. If something happens, and if not, create the spaces for the oncoming players like Zwane and Tau coming through.
and this is what we call teamwork. He doesn't play for himself to take the spotlight to shine. Yes, we were praising Abotemba Zwane and Pesitao for scoring, but the impact of Evidence Makgopa that he done in that game, he also deserves credit there, because the spaces that he created for those players, because he draw the attention from the defense, and then the defense, they forget that there is Themba Zwane, who's a danger man there.
100%. Because even if you look at Zwane's first goal against Namibia, he kind of had like 5 meters on everybody. You know, that ball from I think it was Morena, if I'm not mistaken,
From the right,
the right back.
Yeah.
He played the cutback, the 45, and Zwane was pretty much unmarked.
Yeah.
And it was because Makopa had taken that 2 defenders with him to the byline.
We mustn't forget that good players create these chances as well.
Okay.
With Makopa taking it, Zwane, with the caliber of player, is he creates these sorts of situations to get these chances.
And if you have players like Abu Pesitao and Themba Zwane in those areas, you know that when there's an opportunity, they're gonna score. So we don't have to put pressure on Evidence Makgopa that he must score a goal, because he's doing the job that the coach is telling him to do. So
Let me ask you, gents, this. Is his place under siege? Can you see him getting subbed off in one of the games, or rather losing his starting position?
No, I don't think so.
no, he has done a pretty good job there. Even in the opening match that we lost against Mali, he did a good job. So even tonight, I'm expecting him to see him there in the starting lineup.
The only thing he's missing in his game is goals up to now.
Yeah.
Everything else is there. He's making the right runs. He's getting in the right spaces. His link-up play is top, especially when we saw with him and Zwane coming from the left-hand side. So he's doing the right things. The goals will come, I believe it.
Personally, I just wonder if it's going to be enough. Again, as I must stress, we look like we're going to the knockouts. I'm confident that we are going to the knockouts. And for me, I just think a striker should be getting on the score sheet. I get what you guys are saying, and I also agree with you in saying that he does take defenders away. But honestly, I think he needs to be giving Zwane and Tau some stick when he's in a goal-scoring position. Because remember, he creates that for his fellow strikers.
But then I'll quote one of the greatest coaches here, Pitso Mosimane. He used to say, you don't have to play beautiful football, especially in this kind of tournament, because what matters the most, it's the results, you know. So in this kind of matches, because we're playing a North African team here, and before the podcast, I said pray for Tunisia, because we know North Africans, we know how we're
going to take the fight to them.
Yeah, you know, Egypt, we've beaten them before. We can't be stressed about Tunisia, because
I don't think physicality will be a problem in this fixture. I think it's all more or less a level playing field. And I think we're gonna crush them today.
And most of our starting lineup, it's players from Mamelodi Sundowns who know how to beat this North African team. So hence I'm saying people, they must just pray for Tunisia, because I think they're gonna catch a good hiding tonight.
Okay, well, let's go into how you guys think we're going to set up against Tunisia. Now, the one way you can look at it is that Hugo Broos could look to rest some of his key players. You know, I think we're on 3 points so far, and a relatively healthy goal difference. I think we got a plus two goal difference. You look at some of the other nations on 3 points, -3, negative, you know.
Yeah.
We stand a good chance of qualifying if we avoid defeat, shall I say. So, one, he could rest the likes of Tau, Zwane, maybe give some of the other players some game time. Opolis could make an appearance.
Yeah.
You see what I mean? The other way is he could come with all guns blazing, feel the strongest 11 just to say, get the result.
I think there's two sides to the situation where Broos can look for rotation of the squad and keep people fresh going into the next round, or he can keep the same team and find fluidity and rhythm and find the right combinations going into the next round, which I personally think is the right way to do it. Keep the same team, let them play together, find the right combinations, let them enjoy the game, and we'll get the result we're looking for.
Yeah, and we don't want to finish third in the group. So if I'm Hugo Broos, I'm sticking to the same formation, the same starting lineup, because we want to top the group. We don't want to end up in a situation where we like, if we had won our group, maybe we would have get maybe an opponent that you can say maybe
a less stronger team.
Yeah.
Because if we finished third best, we could face Morocco, Senegal. So we want to avoid those.
So rather go all gun blazing, and if we get the job done, maybe in like 55 minutes, that's when then you can make subs, and just to give some of the guys a run and to
see
rest
what they're about.
And rest some of your
key
your best
players.
11.
Okay, so I'm confident that that's going to be the game plan. I think both of the analysts in studio today are recognizing that he will stick with his strongest team and get them more minutes playing together. Let's go down to Bruce's credentials. Now, he is an AFCON winner. And after the opening day defeat against Mali, he did come out and say they must just go on and play like they did today. So he was happy with the team, even though we were defeated 2-0. And I agree with him up to a certain point, because in the first half, I really felt we had the better.
We did. We created more chances.
Second half, they take Basuma off, quick fire double.
I think in the first game, if Tau scores the penalty, the game's a totally different, different game.
And that ball, the way Evidence Makgopa was
open nets.
So it would have been
that gives us 2-0 to us, and then it's a totally different game from there.
Could be sitting top of the group.
And in this AFCON, we've seen lots of upsets. So you
never know.
Maybe we might have a new country being crowned as a champion.
But I want to say, is his credentials as an AFCON winner coming to light? Because he gave the media a very united response following an opening day defeat.
Look, he's won the shirts. He won the tournament. He knows what it's about. He knows what it takes to go all the way. He's a winner, and seeing that he's so confident in the team, saying that they just need to continue, which means they're doing what he wants them to do. He likes what he's seeing, and it paid off against Namibia. I see the same style coming out tonight against Tunisia. And I just hope the result is positive so that we go into the next round full of confidence.
And as a coach, you also have to protect your players if you want them to be at their A game. You have to protect them at all costs, so that when they go there on the pitch, they also play for you. To say this guy has protected us, so we must also repay him.
I think that's a huge part of the game as well.
Because as a coach, if you don't protect your players, even at a club level, if you don't protect you, they don't play for you, and then you lose your job. So simple as that.
That's a good point.
So you think he does have the dressing room on his side then?
I think so. I think we got a good track record with Hugo Broos. I think it's 1 loss in 11, something like that. So I think they know him well. They know what he wants, and I think they are playing for him.
Let's talk about the starting 11 that he fielded against Namibia. Now I saw that there was a defensive change that you brought to light. You just want to open up on that.
So in the first game, I think the physicality was too much for Kulu in that game, where he conceded the second goal. It's clear that Broos and his technical team did some analysis on the game. They made a swap. They took Kulu out and put in Grand Kekana. And a huge difference. Kekana is a good player, not taking anything away from Kulu, but Kekana is a different profile. His physicality is good. Obviously, the link up with the rest of the Sundowns players makes him more comfortable with him and Ronwen Williams as well. So everything looks good now at the moment.
And the backline of Mamelodi Sundowns, they used to facing these because we know that the West African teams, they are big, like their size, so they used in managing those kind of game situations, to put it that way. So I think putting Beku, Grand Kekan in that starting lineup really worked for.
And then they kept the clean sheet. There's no surprise.
And looking at in Namibia in that game, they have Abu Shaluli and Abu Dion Hoto who are good with speed. So I think Hugo Broos also
got it right.
And
Okay, let's focus on a selection of the squad, ahead of AFCON, because I know I was very vocal about the number of players that I thought should have been in the team.
Yeah.
And right now he's proven me wrong because well, I'm saying this on the basis that we qualify for the knockout stages, which I think is pretty wrapped up.
Yeah.
So he's proven me wrong. Gents, I want to ask you, do you think he's made the right squad selection for maybe the type of game plan that he had ahead of the tournament?
I think there's a lot of talking points concerning the team selection. I think we all have the same shout for Kaniso Mayo, Tembankosi Lodge, my favorite, Patrick Masungani. So I think, but like you said, they qualified.
Yeah.
He's proved us wrong.
Yeah.
But it would have been nice to have those players just so I think the group would be more confident as well, because Temba's one, we know how good he is, what he does for the team. If he has to get injured, who do we replace him with? That's the biggest talking point. I think the striking situation is fine. Playing down the wings is fine. Maseko was top. Tau was top.
Yeah.
So I think it's just the creative side. I know Zwane is a good player, but how much minutes does he have in him to go all the way?
Yeah, I have to agree with Marc on that one. Maybe Lodge, maybe him being there also, he's got the experience of AFCON, But with Hugo Broos, I remember when he won the AFCON with Cameroon, he got the same criticism that we're giving him.
Not
right
the
now.
strongest
when
11 on paper.
Yeah, and they delivered, So, yes, we lost the opening game, and then they come back, and then they won the match against Namibia. So all I have to say is just let's support him, behind him, because he even said that if we don't make it to the knockout stages, then
we can kill him.
We're
waiting for
it. So that shows that he believes in these players, that he
put his life on the line.
Yeah, So
literally.
So he believes in the players that he called to represent us there.
A thought just came to my mind. Do you think that in not selecting Lodge, who's very much a leader at Orlando Pirates, not selecting Mayo, who's very much a leader at Cape Town City, he's gone with Zwane and the Sundowns imprint? Do you think that maybe was the easier option?
Sometimes I'm not putting this in a bad way, but then sometimes if you have like lots of these quality players, sometimes the unity in the team is not there, but with Sundowns players, they know each other, they travel with each other when they go to play in CAF, so they know who is the leader there, So it's easy for other players to adjust also,
adapt, because Sundowns, they have the winning formula. It's clear for everyone to see.
So now if you all have these players that, this player is what can I say, maybe a staff for his team, and then he's coming to also join these other players who are like doing well for their teams.
Stars in their respective clubs,
sometimes that also like
egos are clashing.
Personality clashes.
Yeah.
Do you think that's what he did in selecting this squad? Because he dropped those players and nobody could make sense of it, especially me.
It could be a possibility.
That's something that's coming to light. That's and I just thought about that right now.
Yeah, it could be because sometimes I'm not saying that these players have bad attitude and what but looking at the coach, maybe he thought maybe no, in order for the team to succeed, let me maybe bring these players.
And it's also one thing we mustn't forget, that he's with the team all the time. He's with the players. He goes through all these preliminary rounds, training these players. So he knows what he wants. He knows his game plan, and he looks at these players and he picks them according to how he wants to play and how he wants to do things. Because we know that we have a large group of good players in the country, and having them all together might be a ego, personalities clashing. So going there, maybe he's got a well-balanced
He's
team.
already nipped these issues in the bud. Sundowns captain, Ronald Williams is there, Bafana captain.
So it's all working out for him now. This far.
Okay.
And remember, when in our opening game also, the penalty there that Pesitao missed, there were like many players wanted to take that penalty, So that also like shows you what he was trying to avoid also,
Just now you have Lodge and Mayo and
everybody want to take the penalty.
And also look at I'll make an example of Ghana.
Yeah.
You know, when they were knocked out in the tournament, the fans were angry at the Ayew brothers, saying they think this is their team. You know, they were saying the coach should have given other players who were sitting on the bench an opportunity to go and represent the country. But the Ayew brothers failed the nation, you know. So you don't want those kind of vibes after you failed in the tournament, you know. You still want the players to be like mentally strong and fit, you know, because us as fans, we criticize anytime when we feel like we want to say something.
Yeah. No, I hear you. Well, against Tunisia, we are going to face the third strongest opponent on the African continent. You know, I think Morocco leads the FIFA rankings, and then it's Senegal. And then it's Tunisia. So, you know, it might not be the easiest game on paper, but I back the boys. I'm
not shaken.
I'm with Ayanda. I think the difference with us, I think we're gonna come with the Kasi flavor today. That's the difference. They can come with the best defensive unit and the way they want to play, but I think our flair today would be the difference.
And I've said this before, and I'll repeat to say it now. When we're playing North African teams, whether at the club level or internationally, we always bring our A game. We've beaten Egypt in front of their own fans. We've beaten their team Al Ahly in front of their own fans.
We had Morocco,
Morocco, you know.
Them.
So when we're playing those North African teams, before we used to be scared of them, but now we no longer fear them.
We have their number.
Yeah, you know, we know how to play against them. So
get him on the phone and Bruce, let him speak to the players.
So Bafana Bafana today will get the business done. We will qualify. We won't need any calculators to say.
Put the calculators away.
No.
Sure. No, I love the positivity and the optimism. On that note, I want to know, where is the ceiling for this Bafana team? Where does our AFCON campaign finish?
I'm hoping to go all the way, obviously.
All right.
But I think...
Are you saying finalists or lift the trophy?
I would like to go as finalists. But I think this all depends on our next round game.
Yeah, and if we finish second, I think we might face Burkina Faso. And
who's no pushover anyway. You saw how they played last night as well.
Yeah, if I'm not sure if
Aston Villa-based Bertrand Traore leads the line for them.
I think if we finish first, we're gonna face Burkina Faso, and then if we finish second, I think we're gonna face Angola, somewhere there. But the team that finishes third, all I know, is a team that is going to face Senegal, of which we
need to avoid.
We need to avoid, you know. We need to avoid Senegal because they've proven themselves and they are the defending champions. So they will go all out to try and defend their trophy.
Further to that, I've got a stat that they've won all the group stage games at AFCON for the first time in their history. So they're currently unbeaten in each of the last 10 AFCON encounters. So, you know, they do pack quite a punch. But, you know, with the favorites, Ghana and Algeria being knocked out, Ivory Coast are kind of also dispatched. Like, I think we stand a relatively good chance of going far, rather. You say all the way to the finals.
I'm really hoping they can do something like that.
For now, I'll say let's look at the opponent that we're gonna get. Maybe
everything will count on the next round.
On the next round.
And then the performance that Bafana Bafana will show tonight. That's when we can say maybe they can go maybe this far in this tournament.
Look, there've been some incredible performers at AFCON so far. You know, you can see Angola going through, Cape Verde going through. We mentioned Burkina Faso.
Equatorial Guinea.
Yeah. They smashed Ivory Coast 4-0. Was the heaviest margin of defeat at for a host nation at an AFCON tournament.
And the striker at Equatorial Guinea, who's 34 years old, is the highest goal scorer at AFCON.
So in this AFCON, we're gonna see lots of like upset, you know. And for me, I can say the dark horses of this tournament. I'll say Nigeria and Burkina Faso. Burkina Faso, the last time they finished third or fourth in the last tournament. So they were
knocked out by Egypt.
They have a pedigree on how to
navigate these latter stages of the tournament.
Yeah, you know. So for me, those are the dark horses for me in this tournament so far.
I see. All right, gents, it's been a pleasure discussing all things AFCON related with you. We're gonna have to wait and see how tonight's fixture against Tunisia goes, and then we'll be back next week to unpack the remainder of the tournament. Until next week.
Good luck to the boys. Thanks for having me, Desh.
Cheers.
Hit the Target Podcast.